What's up guys, it's Megan, you another Duelist Link Evolution. I do apologise for this of this video guys. I've had a lot of personal stuff to do and also I've had to grind out a lot of cards for this deck because I barely had a single DD card. Please bear in mind that the Link DDD card, I think it's called Gilgamesh, isn't in this game, so obviously can't do one of him sadly. Hopefully he's in the new update, so fingers crossed. In this deck I hope I've done Ragey proud guys because we are able to link, fusion, synchro, exceeds, and 9 times out of 10 you're not going to pendulum summon, but you can still pendulum summon. And like I say in every single video guys, I highly recommend you check out the card hub. For not only if it tells you if a card is in this game or not, it will tell you which booster pack it's in, it will tell you how rare the card is, it will tell you if it's in a challenge mode, campaign, you name it, it'll tell you where to find it, and also it will tell you if it's in the old legacy or just exclusively the new one. All this can be in the description down below. It's the place to find out where to find any card in this game. And with that, let's get into the video. Starting us off guys is the 2 copies of Ash Blossom Joy Springs, limited to 2 guys. Only reason we're running 2, whereas I'd run 3. One of the best hand traps guys, shuts down your opponent from doing anything. If the special one from the deck, sends a card from the deck to the grave, or adds a card from the deck to the hand, it just shuts down a lot of stuff. Like anything from the deck, Ash Blossom shuts it down, limited to 2. On to the DDDs themselves guys, we are running the 1 copy of DDD Ghost. The reason why we're running this tuner guys is, yeah, it's great to go into synchro plays because it's a level 2. Not as useful as Lamia, but it's still good. But the main reason why we're using it is because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send another DDD monster or Dark Contract that's in your grave, you get sent another copy to the grave. So this deck's all about setting up the graveyard because that's the way you're going to be doing a lot of your fusions, like Contract of the Swamp, and Necro Slime, Vice Typhon. It's all going to be in the grave. DD goes just make sure you've got the resources in your graveyard, and that effect is not a once per turn. It also has another effect where if this card is banished, so if you banish it with a law, you could target one of your DD cards that are banished and send it back to the graveyard. So it has really good good uses, DD Ghost. And then 3 copies of DD Lamia, you realistically want to have this card in your hand turn 1. If this card is in your hand or in the graveyard, it doesn't matter which one, you can send 1 DDD or Dark Contract from your hand or face from the field to the graveyard. So please bear in mind, if you can't use that effect from the graveyard or whatever, if this card, so if you're going to target a pendulum, so I know Savant Kepler, Ragnarok, or whatever, if they're on the field, you can't target them with Lamia because they don't go to the graveyard; they go to the extra deck, so please bear in mind with that. However, if you do play Lamia's effect, Special Summon herself, she is banished when she leaves the field, so please bear that in mind. But she is so great to go into your level 7s, your level 8s, so great for Lamia. 3 copies of Necro Slime guys. If this card is in the grave, you pretty much get to do a fusion summon using monsters in your graveyard, and you banish them. So this 1 card can go into near enough all of our fusions, bar 2. It's just great, guys. It's basically like a lower version of Vice Typhon. So between this and Vice Typhon, you've got 6 monsters to go into your fusions in the graveyard. It just sets up it so much. A good send with Corfinus's effect. And then 3 copies of Swirl Slime, another card you realistically want to have in your hand turn 1. If you have to search for it or whatever, like this and Lamia, you want to have in your hand turn 1. So if this card is in your hand, you can perform a fusion summon using monsters in your hand, and then send to the grave. And it also has another effect, a graveyard effect. So if you banish this card from your grave, you can special summon a DD monster from your hand. So the reason why you want to have this card in your hand turn 1 is because you go into a fusion play, then you pretty much send this card to the graveyard to summon Lamia, then you go into a free synchro. Then because Lamia wasn't special summoned by her own effect, she's in the grave. You can resummon Lamia, then you can go into you see what I mean? You can go into a Crystal Wing, you go into Siegfried, you can go into whatever you want. You see what I mean? It's just so good because Swirl Slime just lets you just search any one of your cards that's like you didn't use and just go into a free synchro play or Xyz play, whatever. And then 3 copies of Vice Typhon. It's like another version of Necro Slime, guys. You're really going to normal summon this card because it requires 2 tributes. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send this card to the grave to special 1 level 8 or higher DD fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing monsters you would have. So this card pretty much brings out our High Flame, so that's the reason why we're running it. Such a great card, guys. If you want, you could take out another monster in our extra deck and have 2 High Flames. That's pretty much why you're using this card, guys. And also, because it's a level 7, it works well with a lot of other our monsters to go into Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. And then more 2 copies of Effect Veiler, guys. If you with the board you have, you can't have access to like a level 1 monster or like Crystal Wing turn 1. Effect Veiler is kind of like a nice substitute. So she's a level 1, guys. That means it's capable of going to Link Karibo should you not draw into Kepler or Necro Slime. And also, like I say, if you can't get Crystal Wing out straight away, Effect Veiler is like a nice substitute for Crystal Wing until you can get Crystal Wing out. It's the reason why we're running this card. And then 3 copies of DD Savant Cawthon. I can't pronounce this guy's name, guys. If this card is normal special summoned, we get sent a Dark Contract or a DD monster from our deck to our hand. So this one card, if you send Ghost to the grave, you can send another big card if you've got another monster in there because of Ghost's effect. You can send Lamia in there, so then you can bring base attribute another monster going to a Synchro. Necro Slime or Vice Typhon for a fusion, or you can send Swirl Slime so you can special on a card for your hand. You have many options with this one card, and also it's great to go into Wee Witch's Apprentice so that you have it in your hand turn 1. Then 3 copies of DD Savant Kepler. If this card's normal special summons, you can basically you have a target a DD monster you control return to the hand. You're not realistically going to do that effect. The main reason why you're going to summon this card is because you search our Dark Contracts, so either the Gate or the Swamp. And yeah, because it's a Link 1, guys, you pretty much go straight into Link Karibo. Like this. Like the perfect hand would have this, Slime, or Swirl Slime, Lamia, then Ragnarok. Having just those 4 cards in your hand is gold. Like, those are the cards you realistically want to have in your hand turn 1. Like, beautiful if you can have any of those 4 cards in your hand. And then 2 copies of Savant Thomas. It's a level 8, guys. It makes it easy to go into our Hope Harbinger. This guy has 2 effects. Its monster effect is you can target 1 DD monster in your Pendulum Zone, so Ragnarok or Savant Kepler, but mainly Ragnarok. You get special summon a DDD monster from your deck in defense mode. It's got to be triple D, can't be double D. But its effects are negated, but that doesn't matter. So with just this one monster effect, if you summon out this guy, you can pretty much go straight in to Ragnarok, and because they're both level 8, they equal Hope Harbinger with just one summon, pretty much. It also has another effect where its pendulum effect is you can pretty much target a face-up pendulum monster in your extra deck and add it to your hand. So that's a great way to recycle your Kepler, or if you've sent Ragnarok to the extra deck because you've tripled it or something, yeah, you can pretty much just get it back. And then 3 copies of Ragnarok. If this card is normal special summon, guys, you can target a triple D monster in our graveyard, special summon it. Again, recycles the graveyard beautifully if this card is summoned. And also it has another, and also you can tribute 1 other DD monster you control and banish one monster your opponent controls. Even if it's set, it's still banished, which is great. It also has a pendulum effect where if you special summon a DD monster, it doesn't have to be fusion, it could be any DD monster. You can target another DD monster from your graveyard and special summon it. Your opponent takes half damage for the rest of the turn and you lose 1,000 life points, but that is one hell of a combo extender. And that's it for the monsters, guys. Going on to his spells, running 3 Allure of Darkness. Search out our cards, guys. If you start off your hand with 2 Kepler, you can just basically search one with you search your Dark Contract with 1 Kepler, then you could just play Allure of Darkness, get rid of the other one. So the main target you want to use this is Ghost, because with Ghost you can search, you can take a DD monster that was already banished and place it back into the graveyard if you're using it with Ghost. Yeah, it's just there for drawing more cards, guys. 3 copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. This card literally searches out any DD monster you control. The Gates do have an effect, guys, where you take 1,000 points of damage during each standby phase, but with like cards like Ghost, your High Flames, you can get around the damage, so you are kind of like on a time limit with this deck. But with the amount of negates you can pretty much have on your board, you're not going to worry about that. But yeah, this is really the searcher of the deck. And then Dark Contract with the Swamp, guys, this is pretty much a free fusion summon. So if you use monsters from your hand, they're going to go to the graveyard. If you use monsters in your graveyard, they're going to be banished. You can use both, so say for instance you've got one DD in your hand and one in the grave, you can use both of them and fusion summon. The one in your hand will go to the grave, the one in the graveyard will banish, it doesn't really matter. But you can bring out a few, it's basically a free fusion summon really. Monster Reborn, guys, bring back another one of our monsters. Say, especially because you're going to know a special summon. Our monster's effects are going to trigger. Ragnarok's pendulum ability is going to trigger. You can just go explosive with this. 1 for 1, one of the best cards in this deck, limited to 1, guys. You really, like I say, you really want to get Kepler on your field turn 1 to search out Dark Contract. You go into Link Karibo. Then you just basically go explosive from there. So this card pretty much gets it there. And if you've sent a Ice Typhon, Swirl, Slime, whatever, their effects are pretty much going to be set up. 2 copies of Pot of Desires. We just want to search out our deck, guys. You have got to banish 10 cards on the top of your deck. So if you do have like other like draw power in your hand first, like or search power such as Kepler, do those plays first. Get the cards you want, then play Desires. Because the last thing you want is to say like you have Kepler and Desires, you play the Desires, and then all 3 of your gates are banished. Like, it's going to be unlikely, but it can happen. So please bear in mind with the Desires. Like, you have to banish 10 cards, but drawing them 2 cards can be key. And then finally, 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, just draw out another card. Yeah, your opponent gains fast life points, but you just want to get to the cards you specifically want. And that's it for the deck, guys. Yeah, we're not running like Called by the Grave, whatever, because yeah, it's great to have those negates, but if you can go first and set up your board and have your negate set, you don't really need Called by the Grave. So going on to our extra deck, we're running 1 copy of DDD Flame Hiking Genghis. Now this is a monster where you could have run 2 if you want and take out another fusion I'll get to later. It requires 1 level 5 or higher DD monster plus a DD, so if you're going to use it with Necro Slime's effect, please have another level 5 or higher monster. This card is like the upgraded version of normal Genghis, we'll get to him in a minute. So this card effect is, if you normal or special summon a DD monster, once per turn you can special summon another DD from your grave, which is absolute beast. And also has another effect where, once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell or trap card effect is activated, you can negate the activation. So I have found it where if your opponent just activates a spell, like a flat out spell, say Regeki, Monster Reborn, Flame Hiking Genghis won't negate it. I don't know why, it can't, but however, I found if it does a continuous spell, it will negate it. But if your opponent activates a trap card, Genghis will shut it down. I don't know if I'm just misplaying it, guys, but for me, I just couldn't play its effect before it activated the spell, so please bear in mind with that. But the reason why this card is so good is because it's a level 8, so you can go into Hope Harbinger if you want to with it. You can just basically shut down trap cards, which is just great once per turn. And also, like I say, you normal summon a monster with Genghis, when Genghis is in play, its effect is going to trigger to special summon a monster. Then, because if Ragnarok's in your pendulum zone, because you special summoned, another monster is going to be summoned. You pretty much just free summons for days, guys. Then 2 copies of DDD Flame King Genghis, so the normal version. This card's like the downgraded version of Hive King, but it just requires any 2 DD monsters. It doesn't matter how many, so it doesn't matter on their level. So if a DD monster is special summoned, can only be special summoned, while this card's on the field, you get a free summon, so that's why Hive King is better, because it's normal and or special summoned. This card is just special summoned. Once per turn though, if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can basically target a Dark Contract in your grave and add it to your hand, which is kind of nice. But yeah, you really want to bring out this card, guys, in the beginning bit of your combo. I'll get to the combo in a minute when we go through our cards. So you pretty much going to go into Link Karibo, summon this card next to its link, and then if you have Ragnarok in your pendulum zone when you fusion summon this, Ragnarok will summon out a monster from your grave. And if you really want to, depending on the monsters you sent, Flame Genghis effect will activate again and bring back the other monster. So with just a fusion with, so say you've just used Swirl Slime's effect with Lamia, you've gone into Genghis. Flame King's effect is going to trigger to Ragnarok's effect will trigger, bring back the slime. Genghis effect will trigger, bring back the Lamia. So the 2 fusion requirements materials are back on the field. And all because you fusion summon 1 monster. It's so broken, this deck, guys. And then 1 copy of DD Oracle King Dark. Again, two any double D monsters. Any effect damage you would take, you gain. So that is kind of a nice thing, especially with your Dark Contract or a Ragnarok burning you. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's a level 7, guys. So doing this is great to go into Absolute Dragon. It's great to go into Siegfried. Yeah, it's just so good. This card. 2 any double D monsters. Also, it's a triple D monster, so it's great to go into another fusion, or just great to work with any of our monsters like Special Summon Ragnarok and stuff. That's the main reason using this card. 1 copy of Odd Eyes Vortex. This card you can only summon using Absolute Dragon's effect. Can't bring it out by any other means. But if this card is special summoned, you can target 1 monster your opponent has in attack mode. Return it to the hand, so that's a great, so kind of like a compulse on summon. And then it has an effect when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect. You can shuffle 1 of your pendulum monsters that's face up in your extra deck back into the deck and negate the activation. So this card is a negate for everything. So Flame High King will shut down traps near enough. This shuts down everything, and with Hope Harbinger and Crystal Wing and Siegfried, you have so many negates, it's untrue. And then 1 copy of DDD Super Doom King Purple Armageddon. The only reason I'm using this card, guys, is because this is like for late game, because you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its attack. So it's kind of there just to burn your opponent if you're going for game. And also, before damage calculation, if this card attacks opponent's monster, if their monster its attack points is different than its original, Purple Armageddon will make their attack go back to their original. So it kind of shuts down like monsters that have been boosted. But yeah, you can easily take out this card, guys, and put another high Flame King if you really want. I just found this card sometimes can be helpful. Going on to the synchros, 1 Crystal Wing Synchro requires 1 tuner and 1 non-synchro monster. So you basically, the only way you can bring this out is with Lamia or with Vet Veiler, with either Alexander or with Odd Eyes Meteor Blast. But with the way you can, well, the combos you can do, you can easily bring out them cards and go into Lamia or Vet Veiler to synchro into this bad boy. It's literally like an Effect Veiler, guys. Once per turn, you can negate a monster effect that happens, and also you don't only negate, you'd also destroy the monster as well. And this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. And also, if this card engages in a battle with a monster's level 5 or higher, Crystal Wing absorbs that monster's attack. So going against Dark Magician, this card's going to gain 2500 attack, so you always deal 3000 points of damage, which is kind of beast. So yeah, so between this, the next card I'm going to talk about, Vortex and High Flame and Hope Harbinger, you have like 6 of your extra deck monsters that are full-blown negates. It's just so broken. Then we have Cursed King Siegfried, another level 8, requires 1 tuner and 1 DD monster. That's not obviously a tuner, but this card is so easy to go into. During other player's turn, you could target 1 face-up spell or trap your opponent controls, negate it. You could do this during either player's turn, so it's great. And also, if this card is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard by card effect, you gain 1,000 points. So you gain 1,000 life points for each Dark Contract you control. So kind of like, if this card goes, at least you're getting more life points. But yeah, this card just shuts down spells or traps. So if you could quite easily in turn 1 go into this and Hope Harbinger. That way, Hope Harbinger shuts down spells. This card shuts down the trap cards. You can go into High Flame King and Siegfried shut down spells and traps. You can go into Vortex, you can shut down anything, and then just use Siegfried to shut down a spell and traps. You have a lot of stuff you can do with shutting down your opponent. And then 1 copy of DDD Gust King Alexander. Alexander kind of has, it's kind of like a Genghis, just with level 7, just with not level 6. So if a DD monster is normal special summoned to your field while this card is face up, you can target a level 4 or lower DD in your grave, special summon it. So if you the main thing is turn 1 you're going to go into Genghis most probably, use Lamia to go into Alexander or to go into Odd Eyes depending on what board you've got or card you've got. Then you go and make your big plays from there. It is level 7, so if you can somehow get Vice Typhon on the field or go into Dark or whatever, you can pretty much go into Absolute Dragon, which is Beast, is kind of what you really want. But yeah, that's the reason why you go into Alexander just for a combo extender. And then one copy of Odd Eye's Meteor Blast Dragon. Guys, when this card is special summoned, you can target one level. You can target one of your Pendulum monsters, so Thomas, Ragnarok, and special summon them, which is just absolute beast. The only reason you're using this card, you don't use it for any other thing, and that's pretty much it. So, say for instance, you've got Thomas in your Pendulum zone, you just bring out Thomas. Say you've got Thomas and Ragnarok, you're going to go most probably into the Thomas, not the Ragnarok, but if you do go Ragnarok, its effect's going to trigger bring back a monster that you used. The plays just explode. It's so broken. But say you go into Thomas. Thomas' effect then destroy the Ragnarok. Bring back another Ragnarok. You've got 2 level 8s. So say you've got Lamia in play, you can go into Crystal Wing. Then you will go into Hope Harbinger. Or if you've got like Alexander or Dark on the field, you can go into Absolute Loot. Then you can go into Vortexer. And then you go to Hope Harbinger. There's many plays you can do with this card, guys. It's untrue. Then Hope Harbinger. And once per turn, when a spell card is activated, a quick effect, you can negate that effect. And if you do attach this, to this card, so this guy shut down spells once per turn. So you combine this with High Flame King, shut down spells and shut down traps, which is just beast. And also, when your opponent's monster clears an attack, you can use one overlay unit and change that target to this card and then instantly perform damage calculation. So I found it, my opponent once attacked me with a Link Karibo. I don't know why they were doing it, but they did. They would just instantly go into this and lose a hell of an amount of life points. It's absolute beast. Hope Harbinger's brew, and like your opponent can't play like effects straight after going to attack. It just instantly performs damage calculation. It's just beast. And then one copy of Odd Eye's Absolute Dragon. You're not going to use this. You're not ever going to use this card's effect, guys. So don't really think. I mean, you can use its effect where when either player declares an attack, you can attach one overlay unit and negate it, then special summon Odd Eyes from your hand or graveyard. That's kind of a thing you could do, but that's not the reason you kind of use this card's effect. So, when this card so you basically see someone into this with like your Wee Witch's Apprentice. Then you instantly go into our Link 3, and then Odd Eyes has an effect where if this Exceed Summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon an Odd Eyes monster from our extra deck. So, because we're going to go into our Link 3 with this card, you instantly get to bring out Vortex. So, Vortex just shuts down your opponent. That's the only reason you kind of run Absolute Dragon. Links, we have Link Karibo, guys. Vital Link Karibo. You summon out Kepler, then go into Link Karibo straight away. To go into Wee Witch's Apprentice. Yeah, there's a reason why I use Link Karibo. And also, you contribute a level 1 monster that we have to special summon this card from your graveyard. Kind of nice. So you've got you want to get slime in the graveyard. Just tribute the slime. Summon to bring back Link Karibo. That way, slime's in the graveyard to use its effect. If you have this card in play, you can survive a battle phase once per turn. Because when your opponent declares an attack on any monster, you contribute this card and make that monster attack points go down to 0. So you're pretty much safe for a turn. One copy of Wee Witch's Apprentice, guys. 2 darks. That's why you want to go to Link Karibo as soon as you can, because Link Karibo is a dark attribute. All dark monsters we control gain 500 attack. All our DD monsters near enough are going to be dark, apart from maybe some of the extra deck ones, like Alexander or Genghis. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can basically search a dark monster from our grave and add to our hand, which is beautiful. But yeah, the main reason you're going to use Wee Witch's Apprentice and Absolute Dragon to go into is it Zephyr Metron. This card is like the final link you're going to go into. If a monster this card points to that was special summoned from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or by a card effect, so we've got this pointed to our negates or whatever. You can pretty much add a card or pendulum monster from my extra deck back to our hand, pretty much. It just recycles it. And also has another effect where you can target one monster on each player's field that was special summoned from the extra deck and banish them until the turn's end phase. So you can get around pesky cards your opponent controls, but it's there for if your opponent gets around one of your monsters or whatever, it just gets you pretty much just search back another card, really. So like I say, you really want to have this card in your Pendulum Zone, and that way you could have the ideal board would be something like Crystal Wing, Hope Harbinger and Siegfried, or like Hope Harbinger, Vortex, Gilgamesh, something like Gilgamesh, Genghis. You have 6 monsters that you can use for negating your opponent's board and stopping it. That's realistically what you want to use your cards for. And that's it for the deck, guys. So I've rambled on a little bit, but DDDs are such a good deck. It's really fun going into all these summoning methods. It literally makes you think Akbar Reiji was a god with what he does. I have made. I'm sorry it took me so long to make this deck. It's literally been hell grinding the cards. RMG is not my friend. We're all making another deck, guys. Time Lords was requested next, so I am doing a Time Lord deck. I'm sorry if I've got so many decks that are on request. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying my best to go through them all, but with family stuff along with grinding, it's really taking a little bit of time. So please bear with me. If you like this deck, leave a thumbs up. It makes it see if you like this deck or not, and also helps the channel grow. And with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the replay. See this deck in action. I shall see you when I see you, guys. Take care. Goodbye.